Well, hello there. It's Tuesday for me, so it's soul transforming stories. We're working on finding a schedule. It hasn't been happening yet, but we'll get there. Today we do have a story for you, so that is good. We're working to figure out the flow of everything. So I really do enjoy being here and doing these things. You would think just 15 to 20 minutes isn't much out of life, but apparently sometimes it is. So, wisdom for the day. Um, Breathe. I've been practicing that one myself. Remember to breathe. It sounds odd, doesn't it? We're breathing, of course, or we aren't alive. I'm talking about really breathing. Taking deep breath in and deep breath out. Letting everything go. In a sense, exhaling all that stress and strain and everything else and inhaling gratitude. Allowing gratitude to just flow through you, allowing gratitude to be the energy that moves you, and just being in grateful space for what God has done for you. Even if you're in the middle of a mess, honest. I've been there, still there, kind of. It's kind of odd, but that's all right. I can still breathe. So that's my little bit for the day. Shortly, we won't be hearing this anymore. Right now you do. Eric at starthealing.me, Eric at starthealing.me, Eric at starthealing.me. You go to that email, send me an email, ask for a link. I'll send you a link. We'll talk. That one's without charge, just to get to know each other. See if I'm part of your healing puzzle. Please remember to like, subscribe, and all those other things that are necessary for this channel to find more people. And that's my big thing. So, a soul transforming story from a human that's slightly less than 100% stellar, but really going to enjoy the story with you. So, it's midnight. That's when these things happen, of course. Not when you can deal with them, when they're in the light of day, when there are maneuvers and actions. It's midnight. It's that clock striking 12 thing again. And then something slips through the cracks. Oh, there's many of those. The person looks at his desk and goes, well, I don't have a clue on this. Uh, um, my situation is such that I'm just waiting now, hoping, praying, asking God, and thanking God, because what else can I do? Willing to work, willing to do whatever is required, having very amazingly given skills by God. Nothing happens, nothing happens. And that's the answer. He says, wow, you're talking to yourself again. Well, at least you're not answering yourself so far. He said, maybe I was a bit. I said, the desk isn't going to help me. The situation isn't going to change. Not here, not now. Then he gets an idea. His walk with God has been, uh, well, a struggle, an uphill one, but still a struggle. And he knows that he hasn't been meeting all the requirements with God. So he takes all of well, those things that need to be paid, those things that need to be answered, there's so much things. And he piles them all in a little box that he has on the side and drops them in there. and writes on it, God will figure this out. And then pulls out his Bible, and it's a little dusty, and he goes, oh my, this is terrible. A dusty Bible on my desk. Okay, I guess I haven't been as diligent as I would wish. So starts to read. I don't know where to read from, but he has this thought in his mind of, you know, the different scriptures flowing through, and all of a sudden, the scripture that comes to him is something he's read a lot, Psalm 23. It's almost rote for him. But he decides it's not rote. He decides it's going to get studied. He decides he's going to tear it down, in a sense. See what all is there. He spends the next few hours doing exactly that, you know, and figuring out that he really didn't know that psalm. So then he looks at another, Psalm 27. He tears that one down. Oh my, that one's different too. Then Psalm 66, Psalm 91. Things are happening for him. He's starting to see things. He sits there and he reads that, Psalm 23 is all about peace, all about provision, but it's also all about relationship. The relationship comes, then provision happens, and peace occurs. He goes, that's amazing. I didn't see that before. I didn't see it in that way. He said, I saw it all the time. He said, I mean, yeah, the Lord is my shepherd, which is what I wish. He is to be my shepherd. That's true. Is to shepherd me, is to keep me away from doing what sheep do. So much more here. Takes us to still waters. It takes us to a place where we can drink without drowning. So many things, he goes. Mutters away to himself some more. Psalm 91. Wow. Not just a fortress, but a high tower, a place where you can look out and see what's coming. That's beautiful when you're under siege. I think I'm under siege. But it also reminds me that I'm not alone. I'm with God. Psalm 66 reminds me to praise, and praise is a weapon that brings the enemy's strongholds down. Well, I like that idea. He spends most of the night going through all of these things and hasn't changed a thing. In the morning, everything collapses, the boat sinks. The world of his financial endeavor, hopefully with God, concludes with the answer. It's a lot of money he requires. They can't call it anything else. It is the mammon cycle. He's been so messed with for so many years, he doesn't know what to do. He's waiting. He has skills, you know. At 5:32 in the morning, he's given this thing of go to MeWe, put up a video. This is what you should say. Uh, he talks about a workman being worthy of their hire. Yet sometimes that worth cannot be seen. Talks about how he has skills and abilities that have been proven. There are testimonies. None of that matters unless the person that requires them wishes to reach out. And he lists his skills, his abilities that God has given him, how intercession breaks things through, how prayer moves things, talks about legacy, lineage, even genetics. Gives them a story of a man in an oat field. Ain't doing well. Black carriage comes along, stops. Man gets out that you can't really see his shadow, and his eyes are pitch black. The man is overwhelmed. If this doesn't work, he doesn't pay the taxes. He doesn't own this property anymore. He's just a serf under a noble, and he knows that there is no mercy at the noble's hand. The person doesn't say anything for a few minutes, and he finally goes over to the fence and he goes, "Hi, can I help you?" He goes, "No, but I can help you." Man goes, "What could you do?" "Well, you need that field to grow, right? That's not growing for some reason, and you don't even know why. You've done everything you know to do. What if I told you that you could pick a name from this book and send that there? Don't worry, your ancestor will deal with it much better than you are." The man thinks about it, but he's very, very desperate. He's not really thinking at all. And he takes the deal. He picks a name, and the man rides off. He doesn't know what's going to happen. Probably a loony. But anyway, he gets up the next morning and his oats are doing way better. They're great. Unfortunately, he didn't see the hole he had dropped when he went over to talk to that guy. He steps on the hole and whacks his head. Now, he's done that a couple of times, and unfortunately, this time it hits a spot that drives something into his brain and he dies instantly. His wife weeps, but the oats stop growing. But nobody notices, nobody knows. But now we go forward to that man's ancestor, and he's sitting in a field, and everything's dead, and he doesn't know why. And this time, God brings a person with wisdom and understanding and explains to this man that an ancestor way back there, desperate as he was, sent it forward. The man looks at this guy and goes, "Well, I'm not sending it forward. No, no, we're going to clear it, if you wish." The man goes, "I don't have anything." He goes, "God will provide, and I take payments." The guy goes, "Well, maybe start with some of those tomatoes over there. They're growing pretty good." "Well, those look nice. I can take those." He sits with the man. He talks about this, gets the man to do the process. We forgive, we forgive, we forgive. Let it rest. We forgive, we forgive, we forgive. Let it rest. And as he's doing this, the other man is doing his work. He also hangs around, helps out, gives the man a little bit of understanding and routine of what he actually is doing for that week. It's a lot. The man looks at it. You're praying constantly, yes. Going to heaven, dealing with what? Well, what I call contracts, he said. Getting rid of them all. This isn't the only one, of course. This is the one affecting you, but there's others that will. But 3 weeks later, he's finished. The crops are recovering in weird, amazing ways. He was remembering something his grandfather had said about the land, and in that remembrance came a solution that had never come forward before. And the man that had been there, of course, had eaten with him, stayed with him. This was unusual, but sometimes it happens this way. When he left, the crops were thriving, growing. He was going to have a really, really, really good year. And he left with a couple of dozen tomatoes and the right to come back from the small town where he lived to get more. It was an exchange, of course. The man finishes his YouTube and sends out a blessing of joy and peace and love and overflowing abundance. Prays a simple prayer, and it's over and shuts it down. He's sitting there, and you know, due to friends and things, there are whatever you want to call them, and ways to get a hold of him. And somebody does. It's a unique individual. He's actually heard a lot of these men's YouTubes and thought, well, could he really help me? I mean, finances aren't an issue. I can pay him. That's never been an issue. What's an issue is other things that are happening in my life that I know that no one can fix. Been to doctors. Hey, I've been to other things too. Weren't proud of it, but came back to God, asking God, seeking God. God keeps showing me him. Well, I wonder what this is going to be like. So he does that thing. He reaches out through the link and books an appointment. The man shows up. They're in the locality, so he shows up in person. He doesn't have a vehicle, he doesn't drive. But it's summer and he's feeling better. Some days he wouldn't be. But this day he's good enough and he gets his old bike out and he goes for a little ride. It's about 30, 40 minutes. But he's going slow. He's brought a change of shirt and he knows about a creek that he can go and scrub himself down just a little bit. But it's good to move around. He hasn't done that in a while. Scrubs himself down, puts on the nice shirt, puts the stinky shirt in the bag he has, and hangs it over the bike when he arrives at the address. And the house looks quite, well, amazing actually. It's old, it's Gothic, um, beautiful, 6 bedrooms at least. Amazing colors of green and ochre, and beautiful house. Gingerbread around the front. Beautiful house, he says. Goes over and knocks on the door, and the man meets him, and he goes, "Hi, hi. Uh, so how's this work?" And he goes, "Well, we'll sit and talk. That's all we're going to do today is talk. I'll figure out what's going on that I can help you with, and I'll help you." That's good. So they sit down and they talk for a little while, and when he finishes, he realizes that he's looking at the man in the house, and he goes, "It's the house itself, sir. It's been in your family for how long? Well, who knows? Probably before this country was founded. It's well looked after, well maintained, but there's something here, isn't there?" Oh, knowing that. The man looks and he says, "Well, the good news is," he said, "this ain't a big thing. It ain't going to take me a long time. I'm going to walk the house. I'm going to get rid of the things that are causing your issues. You, your wife, your child will be in good stead. And we'll sit and then you'll decide what this is worth. Because you look like a man of means. I'm not going to state anything. God seems to show me that I'm just supposed to wait on you." So he walks, and halfway through, the wife goes, "You look hungry." He goes, "Yeah, a little." He goes, takes energy, effort to walk through this prayerfully and clear. And she said, "Oh, it really feels better." She said, "First time my biscuits haven't, well, destroyed themselves in the oven. I got biscuits and gravy, and we don't eat pork, so it's beef and with some veal in it. If you want some, the guy goes, "Oh, that'll help. Yeah, that'll help." Sits down and has it, and while he's doing that, he does the kitchen, and she said, "Oh my, I can feel the kitchen changing." And he looks at her and he goes, "You, well, I walk with God, but I do feel things, and this is definitely feeling more peaceful and at rest." And she goes, "No dishes have fallen out of the cupboard. That's usual." He said, "Well," he said, "there's Geist activity, but it's gone now. It won't be back. We will have to deal with something in your son's room, and your son will have to decide." Oh, I figured there was some stuff going on with him. He's young and can be, well, we'll explain what he's been doing and what it's been causing. Yeah, I think he'll stop. He's a good boy. He really does wish to kind of connect with God. He just never has. She said that would be my dream. Right now, he's in a goth band, and who knows what he's doing while he's there. And his room is painted black. I didn't allow that. It just happened. I said, "That's all right. It's all part of what's going on here. And once it's clear, he'll paint it a different color." She goes, "That'd be awesome." So he finishes having this wonderful meal with ketchup, of course, because you got to have the ketchup. And the Heinz is the only kind as far as he's concerned. But anyway, he's moving along and he's clearing. And then he's, "How many times do you trip on these stairs?" And she goes, "Oh, oh, twice a week. I've nearly, yeah, well, I've had some injuries." So there won't be any more. He walks up the stairs, and as he's walking, he's taking away the hands that are there. This house is really, really cursed, and he's letting him know what he's doing. He doesn't have to put a report out right now. He usually can, but doesn't this time. Gets all the way to the top of the stairs, and the place is pitch black. Yes, now I've running into what's really going on here. Walks in and deals with the watcher, very carefully letting him know that the watchers were there, both male and female, by the way. And goes into their grand suite. In the end, that's what they've changed 3 bedrooms into. It's beautiful. You know. Yeah, it has one corner that is literally dripping red stuff. He goes, "Oh, that again." Walks over and he pulls out of his pocket a little vial of water and he sprays it on it. And he goes, "That'll do that." And it goes poof, disappears. She goes, "Oh my, that's been there forever. We've had guys take that corner out completely and fine. We just about had them take the corner of the house out and it didn't get rid of it. It's gone. Yes, it's gone." Mm. She goes, "Hey, I feel something on that side of the bed. I feel something on the other side of the bed. Our relationship in here hasn't been great. Actually, it's been horrible." She said, "Actually, it's been defiled." And she goes, "I'm not proud of it. Neither is he." And he comes in and goes, he puts her head on her shoulder, going, "No, we are not happy with ourselves." He walks over and he takes their hands and he prays with them right there and then. He commands those spirits that have been affecting them to leave, if they wish, and they do wish, they agree, and it's done in the name above all names. Goes through the bedroom, gets rid of those spirits, the succubi and the incubi, and they leave, and the room becomes light. And he heads down to the secondary master suite that has been built for the sun, with his music coming out that's a death dirge. And he knocks, and the guy goes, "Oh, you're the shaman guy that's going to clean up the house. Ha ha ha." He looks at the sun and he goes, "You really want to be controlled by that?" And the sun tries to say something, but it slaps his mouth shut so bad that he bit his tongue and starts to bleed. And the man goes, "None of that. Not allowed. I stand in the authority and the power of Christ. And you will go sit in the corner." And it did. And the darkness left his eyes. And he goes, "I haven't been free for so long. I don't know what I did wrong, but I don't want to live like this." He said, "I want to go back to the Christian school. I want to, I want to help my friends, but I don't want to be in that band anymore." And that's your wish. Yes. That's what you want that thing to go. Yes. And it's gone. But it will come back and test you. And by the way, that thing under your bed, oh, the Ouija board. Yeah. That's a gate. And it brings all kinds of ugly things in. Can we burn that together right now? See, you have a fireplace in the corner. That's beautiful. That's just what we require. I'll ask God to fortify it because it's going to get hot. He goes, "Sure." He just picks up the box and everything and he disowns it, asks God to forgive him and throws it in and a huge green flame goes up the chimney, rattles, and it's ash, gone. He goes, "Whoa, what was that?" And all the spirits disappearing, going back to where they came from. He goes, "Wow, that thing was really after me. It's also after your friends. I'll help them too. You have to get them here because I won't go near their houses. Their houses are a problem. I can help them, but let's start with you." So showed him the music he was writing and he said, "Do you really want to write that type of music?" And he goes, "No, no, I want to go back to my Christian school." And mom and dad, dad seems to like that shoulder thing, are both looking and their mouths are kind of on the ground of, he wants to go back to the Christian school. Yes. Wants to follow all their rules. Yes. What about your band? Gone. Don't want it. Don't need it. Already texting. He had his phone in his hand texting. No longer wishing to do the band. Wishing you to come for dinner though, so I can explain why. So he gets all kinds of nasty messages and he goes, "That's normal from them. They'll still come for dinner because they like our dinners." He asks, "Will you stay?" "Yes," he said, "I will." He finishes cleaning the room and he, to the surprise of the two adults, he goes, "Can we paint your room?" "Oh yeah, can we get rid of this?" "Yes." "Not gonna be easy, but how about this?" He said, "I'm a bit of a tinkerer with this stuff. How about we give you lion's paws above your bed?" And I heard you were a bit of an artist. I was. Haven't done it in years, but how about you do the Lion of Judah above your bed? We're going to do other things too. Scene of the Cross. I think you're going to write amazing music, by the way. I think you're going to be quite that soul that's going to bridge the gap. He was weeping. They all were, but the changes were occurring. The husband said, "On it." And asks both of us to go. So we do. He keeps clearing and he goes through the garage and clears that, and that was a mess. The man liked to work on really old cars, but he'd had a lot of injuries and accidents, including an engine fall on his leg. Wasn't good. The man goes through and clears all of that, and it feels like a breath of fresh air, and he can smell lilac. That causes the man to weep. "That's the perfume from my great grandmother. I got to meet her for just a short time, but she said there was something horribly wrong here. And she was right. And he said, but you're not done. He said, no, I'm going to have to go to the cornerstones and speak to them in Jesus' name, pour the blood of Christ over them. But there are some things I'm going to have to remove. They're just too tainted. He said, well, he said, you can probably start with that cabinet over there. And the guy looks over and goes, yeah, that's a witch's cabinet. That's what they're called. And you don't have anything in it. Oh, no, I don't know what to do with it. Well, it's probably an expensive piece, isn't it? Yes. Well, I can cleanse it. It's going to take a while. Or you can just take it and cut it up and burn it and see you have a pit out there. He goes, it wasn't that expensive. Pulls an axe from the thing, and I said, okay, let's break the energy, pour the blood of Christ over it, and take it outside. And he said, why? I said, because it's going to get angry. I said, but it can't do anything with the blood of Christ over it. He goes, all right. So he took it outside, chops it all up, throws it in the thing, and again, huge fire. Whoa. And, and the man says, now I'm going to walk the back of this property because there's something here. And he finds it. It's a curse stone. Shows it to the man and speaks to God. And he goes, God, can you send someone to get this? This needs to go somewhere. And to the man's surprise, he's picking this stone up. It's not light, it's not heavy. It's slightly square, but not completely. It's not perfectly in any shape. It has old writing on it. And the man that he had allowed to come into his life and is really doing amazing things is holding it for a few minutes and then it disappeared right out of his hands. And he goes, thank you, angel. I send you joy as you take that back to God or wherever you take it. And I thank you, Father, Spirit, Son, for doing this amazing work. He finds four more and they disappear in the same way. He finds a bunch of other things and they disappear in the same way. The man is just astounded. He goes, is it clear? Mostly. Just got to get those cornerstones. And he goes down into the basement. We never go down in here except to do laundry. He said, and I wonder about that. So he walks around and he finds six cornerstones. Each one he pours the blood of Christ over. There's a screech that literally shakes the house in silence. He does the blood over that 7 times. That's what he's led to do. That's what he does. Then he asks for the cleansing water that flowed from Christ's side to cleanse the entire house. And it does. You can tell the entire difference. He's shut down gates. He's got rid of reality mirrors that are creating different spaces in the houses. Doesn't explain those very much. He just says they're gone, and the guy agrees. He's felt really horrible around that window or that mirror. And now he takes those paints that this man had out in the garage. He liked to paint, so did his son, and they both stopped. And he paints the footprints going from the door with the man's permission right across the floor. He just had no issue with it going across his beautiful maple floors, going all the way up the stairs, into the one room, into the other, just as God showed him to do. The man paints a cross and a lion with his son's help at the door. They go into the son's room and they spend time, and this man puts the paws all the way up to the bed. And the Lion of Judah is now there, and the cross is on the other wall. Prays over the son that he would start to write from the pain and hurt that he has felt from the others, but also from himself, and about the healing authority and power of God. The young man says, that'll be cool. I love writing that stuff. So the friends show up and they're goth, of course. They have a nice dinner. the three that are in the band are upset because he's the lead guitarist and they really need him. And he goes, "Well, I have a solution to that." I go, "What?" "We stay together. We change." Of course, the demons that are involved in these kids try to rustle themselves up, but the man is ready, binds them in the mighty name of Jesus. He puts them in the corner, gives these kids the same route. They decide, yeah, we want to, but they admit that their homes aren't that great. The man says, "Well, let's see, you're 16, you're 17. What, you're 18, right? Yeah. Got plenty of rooms here. Not in this house, but in a back house that I'm putting together for guests and maybe Airbnb. Maybe you could help me with that. And you could stay here for a while. We'll get your parents' permission, but they'll be happy to have you move out, most likely." "Oh, yeah." And there's an old carriage house, and we'll set it up as a studio, real studio. And they all go, "Yeah, yeah, I feel amazing. Oh, man." I felt my teeth were rotting. I felt like my body was falling apart. The girl of the group goes, "I haven't told anyone, but I'm dying of breast cancer." She said, "I was just so angry." And the man takes her through. We forgive. And she says it for about 35 minutes. Nobody says a word. And then all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, gosh. Wow, what is that?" And then something happens to her. She goes, "Ah, I don't have any pain anymore." And goes, "Well, one of the privileges of being who I am, what I do." And he said, "I can phone somebody and have you checked." And he did. They checked. It was gone. Of course, all those demons in the corner left permanently because these kids wanted them gone. "It's going to be a lot of work," he said. "You're going to have to work with the pastor, finish off your years at the Christian school. It's going to be a hard walk. It isn't going to be easy. They're going to come back. They're going to try to take care of you again and again and again. You're going to have to hold the ground. It's not going to be easy, but I'll be here for you. This man over here will be for you. This lady here, your friend. You'll hold each other. You're going to be doing some incredible things." So the guy that owned the home, the one that's there, he goes and collects their stuff and their gear, and oh, the parents are so happy to see it going, although they don't really like him. They don't really doesn't feel good around him. And he said, "Anytime you wish to talk to me, just come. I'll invite this guy, and he'll talk with you. Maybe we can talk with the pastors. There's always a chance for change." And they go, "Ah, blah, 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 blah. This is who I am, and this is what I am, and this is what I'm involved in, and that's that." Okay, so takes one of his big trucks and picks up all that stuff and brings it back. The man cleanses and purifies it, and it's like 4 in the morning when it's all done. But the house feels amazing. Uh, the kids want to do similar with the paintings, and they give up their the rings because they feel that they're cursed, and he agrees and takes them and throws them into the fire that seems to be burning hotter than usual, and they just turn to ash. He prays over their tattoos because they have really horrendous tattoos of death, dying, and as he does, they're transformed. They don't leave, which some people would expect, but they are transformed into a journey tattoo. That leaves everybody shocked, but that's what's happened. And the man goes, "Well, I've got to go get some rest." And the guy goes, "You're not. taking the bike home tonight. He goes, yeah, I figured that. I said, I'll just take a cab or something. He said, I don't drive. And the man says, no, I'll drive you home. He said, we can discuss how much this costs. And the man goes, whatever you think. I trust you. The debt looming, the house he's about to lose, that he loves, that he found, that he created a sanctuary in, that people come and live for a while, but most aren't able to pay anything. The Airbnb isn't just doing it. It was a church at some time, he said. Been converted before he got to it, but he had converted it back and given a small chapel for the pastor who would probably be there praying at that hour. It's just who he was. Praying probably that this gets sorted out. Took a lot of money to fix this up. Didn't take a lot of money to buy it. But it's all right. God's got this. Man looks at him and goes, I don't want to just pay you for that. I want to pay you to look after our family, look after those kids. I got all kinds of stuff you can look after. And I got the money. It ain't a problem. I mean, I give a lot to God, but it just keeps coming back. And he said, I'm going to ask you a question because I felt God said that. How much do you require to sort where you are right now? Yes. Embarrassed to say, but about 90 grand. Um, just haven't had people interested in what I do. I've been helping out where I can, helping people as I can. Was a church that's been restored in so much as it can be. The steeple is my prayer chapel. I love storms. He said it's about 90 grand, 40 by tomorrow morning, or it's all gone. You asked, I'm letting you know. He goes, oh, that's not a worry. He said, I'll talk to the bank. He said, that'll get sorted. He said, but what about you? What do you need? He said, if that lifts off me, he said, I can survive here. I can thrive here, more than likely. So, but I also require help to understand how to run the Airbnb because I don't got it. It's apparent. But I'd like you to come in for a minute. I'll give you a bottle of jam. I like making jam. He goes, sure, I like jam. He expected a small little bottle of jam, and this was like the 2 liter bottle of jam. And he goes, whoa, that's good. What is this? And he goes, elderberry, cherry. It's amazing. Healthy for you. Does a lot of good things. That's awesome. He goes, wow, this place feels like you could just curl up in a corner and go to sleep. Yeah, it'll do that if you require that. It's sanctuary. It's set by God with Christ's blood. All the things that God told me to do, I did. That's why I'm in debt. Cost a bit, but it was worth it. He goes, well, don't worry about the debt. That's gone. He said, I'd like to pay you so much a year. He said, we'll figure that out. Because I got a lot of stuff to figure out. He said, I also got a lot of friends that require your work. And once I speak about what's happened here, and I stand for you, it's going to open. He said, and one more thing. He said, it's a very interesting issue. He goes, but I'm going to let you know about it. He said, because maybe you can help there too. Um, my sister was in the military. It's all top secret, locked up, top shelf. You said you had military stuff? Yes, sir. Ah, there's that, sir. Yeah, a little tired. It's going to come out. Well, could you look at her? She's been through a lot. She has nightmares all the time. Can she come here for a while? I know that's kind of off and awkward, but she's been screaming all night. I just like her to come here and lay in one of these rooms. Maybe she can be helped. And he winks and he goes, maybe something else will happen too. I don't see a missus around you. No, there isn't one. Been waiting for a while, he said. Never know when that's going to happen. He said, can she come? And yeah. He said, it's about 90 minutes away from Chopper. Chopper's already on the ground. I thought you'd say yes. 90 minutes later, she arrives. Her eyes are bloodshot and she's shaking. She doesn't look well. And the man goes, I'm so tired. Do you mind if you? And he goes, not a problem. He said, I know how to look after her. He walks up and he said, can I touch you? And she goes, oh, please. And she just falls into his arms. And he goes, yeah, that feels good. She goes, yes, it does. Well, I'm going to do something I don't do very often, but I'm going to do this just the way that God says. That's the conclusion of part one. Part two can be next week. But let's get 20 likes on this. That's not many. 20. And I'll do another one. I'll do the next part. Interesting, isn't it? Fictional? Somewhat. I'll just leave it there. I'll give you a simple blessing. Blessing? Oops. Let's leave that one out. Blessing of joy overflowing in every corner, peace running everywhere, and something special, a point of entrance, which means basically that God will stand with Christ's blood and power and presence and push things that may have been speaking to you, causing your life to go sideways, moving you in the indirect direction, or many other things that we don't even need to mention. It gives you a 24-hour window. If you accept this, you'll be without it. You can decide what you do from there. If you reach out to me, remember, giving you the information. We'll have some cards soon, and that'll be easier for you to get a hold of. But for now, we'll do it that way. Um, and I just want to wrap it in abundance, and whatever that paintbrush in God's hand wishes to paint for you. But you reach out if you require to. We'll talk. We'll make sure those things stay gone. But for now, you have that little respect. 24-hour window. Everything moved back, held by the power and presence of Christ and his blood. You may not believe in it, but it will happen if you wish it to, because it is God's will. We come before you, Father, and quite emotional. Quite emotional, because this is what we do. We wish to just help. We require your help. And you take a story and make it amazing. Wrap it in love. And fill in all the details. But there's enough there for people to maybe have hope. And that's what I wish for. If this is their first time or 100th time, push back the darkness, Father. Give them a chance to connect and know you. If it's the first time, give them that Roman road. Show them the truth of John 3:16. Open their understanding of their heart. And if it's 100th time, take them deeper, Father. Show them what you are and expand them into what they can be and what they were made to be. And we thank you for this story and for the transformation it will create. And we leave it there. We ask for courage and strength and grace and mercy as we go, and we say thankful, grateful, gratitude. Thankful, grateful, gratitude. Thankful, grateful, gratitude. Standing in awe and honor, respect, allowing all glory to flow. The Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. So, when you rest, rest well. When you wake, wake well. And know that your path is well led by God. Blessings.